All right, hello. How we doing? Welcome to Will&Ski Sports Talk. First time we're doing this. Very excited to bring you some stuff. My name is Will Medina,
I'm Ryan Kabransky, aka Ski.
and we will be coming to you weekly with some topics about the hottest things in sports going on. A little bit about it. We've been wanting to get this show done for a long time. We finally decided to make it happen, so we appreciate anybody that's along for the ride watching us weekly. And we look forward to bringing you some fun and hopefully very informative sports talk.
Yeah, let's get straight into this. What do you say?
Let's do it. Today we're going to be talking about Dez Bryant, right? Coming off that injury, we're going to be talking about some breaking news in the past hour. Jimmy Butler was traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll talk about the impact he might have on an Eastern Conference race, and we're also going to finish things off by talking about a review of the first half in the NFL.
Okay.
Let's jump right in. Dez Bryant. As soon as he signs a contract, he gets hurt. Talk to me.
When he signed with the Saints, I thought that was the missing piece that they needed. I thought that they were going to win the Super Bowl.
Win or go?
I thought they could have won it all.
Okay.
That was a missing piece that I think that would have been a big help for Breeze. That would have taken a lot of pressure off Kamara, a lot of pressure off Thomas. And I don't think the Rams secondary could have hung around with dealing with those three. Because they could have, we saw what they did last week. Yes, the Rams did not have to leave. But then you put Peters over on the guard somebody the second, number 2. Or you switch to him zone and have him watch out for Kamara. I think Dez Bryant would have been a great 50-50 guy who could have taken a lot of pressure off Thomas, could have helped Breeze, and would have been another weapon. Only to find out 2 days later, probably a career-ending injury.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you take the time off because you're not sure. You're saying it's not about the money, all this stuff, which he proved. Baltimore offered him a 3-year, $50-something million contract, and he said no. He wanted to be in a situation which he felt fit him going into free agency. I applaud him for that. His second day at practice, last play of practice, he's possibly out for the year with a ruptured Achilles. And like you said, it could be a season-ending thing. This guy signs a 1-year, $1.25 million contract, which over half the season was going to be about $600K, $500K in incentives, which I don't think he would have gotten because it would have been a situation very similar to Josh Gordon over in New England. You can't just have a guy who hasn't played, or even if he has played, to go into an intricate system like New England with Josh McDaniels and Brady, or New Orleans with Sean Payton, Andrew Brees. These systems are not easy for anybody to just come in and pick up. It takes time to get on the same page. And now all of a sudden, you have a guy who's going to come in. He probably would have played 10 to 15 plays this week. Bump that up another 5, 10 plays the following week. It probably wouldn't have been until about November 29th when they're down in Dallas when he was actually going to be a part of that offense. So he was already coming off of, if you play, you're going to get paid. Just like me and you when we go to work. If you play, you're going to get played. If you play, you're going to get paid. If not, you're kind of stuck. And, it's just unfortunate for a guy who, 2014, we thought he was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He signed a 5-year extension with Dallas at the time, where it's $70 million, about $45 million of that guaranteed. To, he's missing the whole year. It could be the end of his career, and who knows what. I know you feel the same way I do. Who knows if somebody's going to sign him next year?
Yeah, he sat out literally half the season. They didn't want to sign with the team, wanted to win the Super Bowl, wanted to go to a team that had a chance to win the Super Bowl. So he signs with New Orleans. Then gets an injury like this. He's in his 30s, his early 30s. That's when most receivers start to really decline. So he's already missed half the season. Doesn't want to play for a losing organization. Wants to get paid. Then gets hurt. I do not, unfortunately, great of a receiver as he was, I do not see another team taking a chance with him unless it's the Browns, which he will not sign for.
I completely agree. The thing with Dez is he was never known as a guy who was going to burn you on the outside as a speedster. We know a lot of, ex-NFL receivers, a lot of people believe that he's not somebody who runs the route tree perfectly. He's not one of those guys that gets by with not having enough speed because of how great his routes are. So when you look at what he can do well, he can get you a 50-50 ball. which is why New Orleans was so great for him. Because you know what? Michael Thomas on one side, who can actually do all the things. He can run. He runs the routes well. He's only in his third year. He's young, right? And then if you give Kamara the ball out of the backfield with Ingram, you got Dez on the other side. One person that can give you the best 50-50 ball in the league, Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah.
He leads the league with about 70% completion rate of guys within 3 yards of his receiver. Right? That's one hell of a stat to know with a guy who likes to go get the 50-50 ball.
Oh,
so next year, you're telling me he's not going to a place where a quarterback can't get on the ball like that. So you got New Orleans, you got Green Bay, you've got the Patriots, right? Breeze, Rodgers, Brady. Only 3 guys that if I'm him, I'm going to play for with his skill set because that's the only way he's going to be useful.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's just going to be a storyline all the time. And I don't think he wants that. No organization wants that, especially coming off an injury, missing a full season. It's going to take him time to get a playbook, to get into shape, to recover. I don't see anybody really taking a risk unless, like you said, the Browns, maybe Tampa Bay, you know, a team that's not doing well, which he doesn't. This year he didn't want to sign for. Yeah. So who knows where he'll be.
Yeah, that offense is, if you think about it, if he would have been a part of that offense, that would have probably been the most complete offense. It would have been deadly because you still have Ingram as a power back between the tackles. Kamara coming out the backfield, running quick routes. Thomas, and then you had Dez Bryant in the mix. I truly thought that offense probably would have raised their average once he got fully into it, maybe to 42 points a game, around there. That's how I don't think they could have been stopped.
I agree. And I mean, if you look at their main competition in the NFC is going to be St. Louis. And the thing that St. Louis can hang their hat on going forward is, okay, if we get to lead back off of IR, we're able to run our defense the way we want to because St. Louis wants to continue to bring the pressure from the inside with their front guys, Dominican Sue and Aaron Donald, and they want to be able to press you on the outside and let those guys get home. You know who doesn't do that well? Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters showed that. He got torched last week by Michael Thomas because they tried to have him run that bump and run defense, which Wade Phillips is known for, but that's not the right person for it. When he was successful, he played off. He'd read the quarterback, read the receiver, jump routes, take risks. He was an Asante Samuel type guy. You know, he is not that type of guy. Now, Talib, we know this from New England, we know this from Denver. He likes to get up in your face. He likes to get physical with you. And that's going to allow the front 4, to have a chance to get home more frequently.
Yeah, like you said, the Rams, you got to figure, they're going to be the number 1 seed. They got the easier remaining schedule with the exception of the Chargers and the Chiefs. Well, other than that, the NFC West is very weak. NFC South, you still got to worry about Carolina and Atlanta. Both teams are over 500.
Yep.
So, they're not going to win.
That might be your 2 wild cards.
Exactly.
Right there. You never know. So, I completely agree. The tougher schedule is definitely with the Saints here. But, I mean, we'll see how things play out, right?
Yeah.
Man, we got some time to the season. We got a couple weeks left. Saints coming off a bye this week, right? So, we'll see where we're at. Got to get into this.
Yeah.
This is huge news coming out of the NBA. Biggest thing. Huge storyline all year. Jimmy Butler has officially been traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Philadelphia 76ers. We don't know the details of who was traded for what. We just know that Minnesota has gotten rid of Jimmy Butler, who we've seen all the storylines of possibilities, all the problems that have been going on in Minnesota, and the 76ers add on one of the better 3-and-D guys in the league.
Yep.
Thoughts?
It's a great trade. I think Philly could potentially, with this trade, be the number 1 seed in the East.
So they could potentially be better than Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee, is what you're saying here.
I like that front. I like that 5.
Okay.
I think that 5 right there couldn't match any 5 in the league. And yes, I'll put that on Golden State.
So, you think Philly starting 5 is just as good, if not better, when healthy, than Golden State?
Moneyball.
That's a tough take.
It is, but you know what? The thing with Philly is they're in your face. They're all the front, the 5, all in your face. Always going to give you a hard shot. They're not going to give you anything easy. I think when you look at Golden State, they struggle when they play Houston because they are in his face. Chris Paul is in Steph Curry's face. Harden is in their face. They're always playing college defense. They're not giving you anything easy. They're in your face. And that's what I think Jimmy Butler's going to bring the heat with that. Even though he's not a full team player, I feel like Jimmy Butler's going to bring an added fire to that team. They're a young team. They're hungry. Everybody's already written them off before the season. Everybody's like, oh, Boston's going to run the East. No problem. Boston's not running the East right now. So, it's a wide open game. And I see with this trade, 76 has got the added boost that could put them number one.
I mean, I agree. I think it has the potential to be a huge move when we look back on the season. You know, Jimmy Butler is a guy who, you know, at this point is averaging 21.3 points a game, which is almost 5 points higher than his career average. With that, you know, he's a great 3-and-D guy when it comes down to it. He can score the ball if necessary, and he's going to guard one of the better players on your other team. You know, he's going to take that assignment with pleasure, and he's going to go get you. The one thing that I can see, though, is we see all the reports coming out, and from the stats we can, you know, pretty much confirm it, is Karl Anthony Towns, who is, in my opinion, Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns are the two big men that if you ever told me I need to start a franchise and I had to pick one, I would not be upset that I got the other one. Mm-hmm. Right? If you got Karl Anthony Towns and I got Anthony Davis, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be a win.
Vice versa. Okay. Those are the only two big men like that where I'm 100%. Even Joel Embiid is starting to get there, but those two are just on another planet. You have a guy like Karl Anthony Towns on your team. Jimmy Butler had a hard time taking a back seat to him. And that caused chemistry issues in the locker room, and it came out on the floor. Right? They struggled. Karl Anthony Towns is having a horrendous year by his standards because of all this stuff going on. But when Jimmy Butler hasn't been on the floor, Karl Anthony Towns having career nights.
Oh, yeah.
So, how does that translate with Joel Embiid? Because Philly's going to run through Joel Embiid. I'm sorry, Jimmy. It's not going to happen. You're not going to walk into Philly and all of a sudden be LeBron James and everything's just going to run through you. It's not going to happen. Joel Embiid runs Philly, and I promise you that's the way it's going to stay. But if you can go in there and you can mesh, I guarantee you they're going to give, you know, a run for their money in that Eastern Conference. Oh, yeah. I would not put them in with Golden State. No way at all. But they will make a run in the East, I think.
Yeah, like you said, there has been chemistry issues. If everything gets squashed, I truly think they could give Golden State a good series. If not, they're going to be one and done. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're too talented, even with all the chemistry, if they have chemistry issues. They're going to get to the playoffs. They may not make it far.
Especially in the East.
Exactly. They may not make it far. They might be one and done, but they will make the playoffs. If Butler can take a back seat and kind of dish the rock and let other people play, he may be one of the better ones on the team, but he's not the best one on the team.
No.
With Chicago was different. When he was with Chicago, the best player on the team was Rondo with him. Rondo is not nobody's best player anymore. So
he never really was. He was your best passer, maybe one of your best defenders, but Jimmy Butler was definitely the leader in Chicago.
Yeah. So then he went to Minnesota. Struggled taking that backseat role. If he can be willing to accept it or at least share it, watch out for him. If not, one and done. I'm going to tell you that.
Here's my biggest thing, right? You know that you can't, obviously, it's too early in the season to say guarantee, but the way things are shaping out, what we've seen early, if we're going to make a prediction on, an educated prediction on what's going to happen here, it looks like the top 4 seeds, not in any specific order, it's going to be Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, and the 76ers. Okay?
Yep.
So, what gets me is you got to expect Boston to play better than they've been playing. I know they're 7-4 right now, but they've struggled. They really have. Kyrie's back, which is great. Everybody was so excited for that. Jason Tatum's a stud. So there's a little bit of, a game going on there right now, which I do think they're going to fix and get going. Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. All three, give me any of them, just like the big man conversation. I have no issue. No issue at all.
Yeah.
So Toronto's going to be fine. They're playing well. They have Lowry with Kawhi. They're great. Then you look at a team like Milwaukee. The Greek Freak takes you to different levels. Those 4 teams are going to get there. don't forget last year when the Celtics played the 76ers in the playoffs, it was a 5-game series. But 3 of the 76ers losses were by 5 points or less, including 2 of them by less than 3. So is Jimmy going to get them there? He might.
He might.
But I do think that Boston is just going to be a little too strong. I do think that, like, Toronto, there's no more fear. We've seen in the playoffs in the past, there was this fear of LeBron James in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They beat everybody besides Cleveland. Guess what? LeBron's not there anymore.
No, the East is wide open.
So this is going to be a very, very, very intriguing matchup going forward because I could see this being great, but also, like I said before, if there's an issue there, if there's a chemistry issue, these guys aren't people that are going to keep it in the background. Jimmy Butler is someone who likes to make it public. Embiid is somebody who likes to make it public.
Yeah.
We're going to know, and we're going to see it firsthand.
Oh, we will. Like I said, if they can squash everything and they can all share it in the wealth, they will be a top-tier team. If not, I really don't see them going far.
I got to agree. I mean, the NBA is going to be tough this year, especially that Eastern Conference because it's so wide open. You look at the West, and at the end of the day, you're just like, hey, Golden State's going.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You might get a little run here from Houston when they get hot and stuff like that, but if there's one thing about that I'm sure about with the NBA, it's that Golden State's going to the finals. The Eastern Conference should be fun to watch down the stretch.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of impact Butler makes to that team.
Yes, sir. Speaking of impacts, speaking of the way things have gone, let's jump into the NFL. After just over a half of the season, where do you stand? What's your biggest disappointment so far of this NFL season?
Biggest disappointment, called it all year. The Jaguars. I had the Jaguars winning the Super Bowl.
I know you did. You've been saying that for a while.
They should have won. They should have beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship. They would have slowed down Philly's defense. They probably would have won the Super Bowl last year. Bad coaching led to them losing in New England. The Jaguars are 3-5 in an open AFC Central. They're not putting up numbers. Bordeaux has 10 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. Fournette has missed 6 games. They played 8. He's missed 6 out of the 8. Ready for this? Love this one. 11 turnovers in 8 games. No offense in the world can win. No team in the world can win with more than 1 turnover. Like doing this. And that defense, everybody raved about the defense. I'm a huge Jalen Ramsey fan. I love him, but he's been doing nothing. That defense has set. So ready for this? 12 out of the 14 top players returned on that defense. So you pretty much get everybody back on your defense,
Which is your biggest strength.
Exactly. You only have 7 created turnovers. So your plus minus in turnovers is -4. Now you got Fournette's out, your best offensive player. I guess you rely on Blake Bortles. If the beginning of the year, Blake Bortles tore the Patriots apart. He looked like an MVP.
He was unbelievable that day.
Fournette goes out and then, boom, everything falls apart. I'm not saying Fournette's the glue, but when Fournette's in there, he makes a big difference.
I mean, I completely agree with that. I mean, you look at that team, when their strength is going, and their strength is definitely aggressive, man-up type defense with a strong run game and keep the ball out of Blake Bortles' hands as much as possible in the sense of don't put him in a 3rd and 8 situation on every drive because he's probably not going to get you that. All right? But if you can keep it to the point where you're there, your defense is playing well, you're running the ball well, and all you have to do is say on 2nd and 6, when you're expected to run something to Fournette or something like that, and you're ahead of the chains, you hit them with a play action, and you're able to get the ball down the field, then they're fine. But they've been truly disappointing. I know you had them going to the Super Bowl, buddy.
Oh, I did.
And I'm sorry.
I'm not a huge Jacksonville fan, but you can't return 12 out of 14 top players on defense.
Yeah.
And come out looking like this.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. I got to go a completely different way. Not that there was Super Bowl predictions for this team. if there was Super Bowl predictions, it was because they joined the hype train. But how about the Raiders, man? Like, the biggest story all offseason was the Raiders. They brought in John Gruden. He comes in. We're going to win a Super Bowl for Oakland. Derek Carr's my quarterback. Let me tell you something, John. If Derek Carr is your quarterback, you're probably not winning any Super Bowls anytime soon.
No.
You remember you talked about Blake Bortles?
Yep.
What did you say his touchdown to interception ratio was?
10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Oh, man. Would you believe it? You know who else has that?
Let me guess.
Derek Carr has it. Can you believe that? You're going to tell me that you're going to win a Super Bowl in Oakland with the same type of quarterback that's playing over there in Jacksonville? It's not happening.
And Blake Bortles isn't even playing. He's benched.
Exactly. It's not happening. You got 10 touchdowns to 8 picks over there by Bortles. The offense looks horrendous. You have a guy who's supposedly a quarterback guru that comes in, an offensive mind, who, by the way, most people believe that he's a good coach, but when people say that he's a great coach, his one knock is that he probably won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team.
100%.
Not his team. Okay? So this guy does not have a reputation of coming in and building a team and building team chemistry or being that much of a winner, to be honest. Right? But he comes in, and Derek Carr's his guy. The offense is struggling. You trade away Amari Cooper, who, fine, you got a first-round pick for. I understand if you're going into the rebuild, that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You take a guy who's young, he's got some money on his contract. You can trade him out for a first-round pick. Fantastic. But you know what you don't do? You don't trade Khalil Mack. You don't trade Amari Cooper and then go into an interview with Howie Long and say how people are calling the Raiders and looking to play for them. It's just, don't lie to us. Just go over there and say, listen, we're working hard, we're grinding here, we're doing what's right for the team, and leave it at that. Don't tell me you're not rebuilding when your defense has put up 4 defensive picks, 3 forced fumbles, and that's it. So your defense has 7 turnovers.
Like who?
Your offense has 8. Just from the quarterback. No, don't come with that. That's my biggest disappointment so far.
No, it sounds like we're both on the same page here. If we do this based off numbers, people think we're talking about the same team.
Exactly. You take everything away and you just go off numbers and you put Blake Bortles next to Derek Carr, they're the same. The defense, all the names, if you take away all the names on the defense of Jacksonville, they're similar statistically.
Oh, yeah.
So you say, the one team has Jalen Ramsey and all these guys, you'd be like, wow, that sounds like a great team. What's they doing defensively? Same thing as Oakland.
Yeah. Who's Khalil Mack-less?
Without Khalil Mack.
It's
horrendous. Let's get away from that. Let's get away from the negative. Let's jump into your first half. Who surprised you the most? Who's, your best story?
It's got to be New Orleans. Drew Brees is 39 years old. 18 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Whew.
Over 2,300 yards in the first half.
Jeez.
Not everybody's Tom Brady. People keep talking about Tom Brady, 41 years old. How long is he going to go? Nobody ever talks about Drew Brees. Drew Brees is 39, putting up very similar statistics. If the season ended today, Drew Brees is the MVP.
Nah.
Mahomes.
I might go with Mahomes.
But
he's there. He's there. I'll give it to you.
Brees has been phenomenal. Last year they lost on a wonky play
Yes.
in the divisional game to Minnesota. It happens. Just blown up, missed tackle. That's all it was. It was a missed tackle. Game was over.
You want to learn how to tackle kids? Go watch that video, and you'll be fine.
Well, no, you don't want them to watch that and have them learn about what to do.
You want to know what not to do
There
when
we
tackling. I'm sorry.
So, the Saints, 7-1, just beat the Rams last week.
First loss of the season.
The first half of that game, you could put a Pro Bowl team against them. Nobody can stop them. They were moving the ball with ease. Granted, this Rams missing a big key piece in Talib, but there was no stopping that offense. That offense was moving. You have Ingram coming out the back between the tackles, breaking arm tackles. Kamara coming out the back, running little outs, wide open. Thomas probably had the best game of his career. Love the celebration. Once he grabbed the phone,
loved it.
Once he grabbed the phone, I knew exactly what it was. I remember watching that game.
Yes.
That was a great ode I love the interview after he goes, "Oh, Joe Horn left it there."
Yep.
Best celebration of the year.
I was just, hey, listen, Michael Thomas. Next time we're gonna do something like that, can you at least get an iPhone, an Android, or something? Do we gotta go to the flip phone? My Lord, all right, continue.
But they're doing everything right. The only concern for me is they blew an 18-point lead. Rams could have came back and won that game very easily.
Oh yeah.
But Sean Payton, A+ so far. The Saints, my first half surprise. I didn't think about it.
Don't forget either, they got the #1 rushing defense in the league.
Yep.
They did a great job containing Todd Gurley last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean last week, and I mean like, you're looking at him. If you don't watch football, you don't know who half these guys are. You know Manti Te'o because of his scandal back in the day, and that's about it. You know, there's nobody on there where you're like, that's a Patrick Peterson, a Barry, Kuechly, these guys.
There's no household names on that defense.
No, they come in, they grind, and they ball. So I completely agree with the Saints. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of their season goes. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about earlier, they're in that tough division where, I know Carolina just got spanked, but Carolina's a completely different team at home than they are on the road.
Yep.
They're gonna find their way into that wild card area. Whether they get it or not, it's a different story, but they're gonna be in it. Atlanta's getting hot with all those weapons on offense. They're going to be competitive, and they're going to be in it too in that wild card scenario. They might possibly, both those teams might be the 2 wild cards.
Yeah.
So, that'll be interesting to see. But, I mean, I got to go with the Chargers. Nobody is talking about the Chargers because they play in the same division as who? Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
And what's Kansas City doing? They're just 8-1. One loss came in a freaking shootout to Tom Brady and the Patriots in Gillette. All right, so they're balling over there. That offense, what they're doing is unbelievable. But let me tell you something. One of the most underrated quarterbacks to ever play the game, to ever play in the NFL, I promise you people, is Phillip Rivers. What he does yearly, with weapons or not, is astounding. All right?
Yeah.
We talk about Brady because Brady is the most accomplished of all time. He, been to the Super Bowl. He's done all that. He's done it with pieces changing around him all the time. Phillip Rivers hasn't had a guy like Keenan Allen in a long time. Mm-hmm. All right? He's got Keenan Allen on the outside. He's got Melvin Gordon behind him, who's, by the way, almost 600 yards, 7 touchdowns on the year. Okay? Rivers is at 19 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. And we haven't even gotten to the defense yet.
Yeah.
That defense is stout. And they have yet to get Joey Bosa. Wait till you have Melvin Ingram rushing on one side. You got Joey Bosa rushing on the other. You know when's the last time we talked about a team like that? We were talking about Houston with Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. And you know what? As much as everybody likes to say, I don't think they've produced to the level that these two are going to produce over here in L.A.
No way.
I don't think so. What's happening there, and I'll say this, we talked about the Rams, and everybody likes to say that they might be the most complete team in the NFL. I don't think so. I think the Chargers are the most complete team in the NFL. When that offense is going and that defense is healthy, it is one hell of a team. Do I think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl? Probably not. You know why? I think they're going to have to go through New England. But that team is something to be reckoned with when they're healthy and they're rolling.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book. Nobody talks about him. It's tough to be noticed when you're in the same league as a Drew Brees, who's putting up career numbers at 39. Brady, Rodgers.
Yep.
It's hard to be a household name. Phillip Rivers is in his career top 10 in every passing category in the NFL. Top 10, and he's still active. I don't know why this guy does not get the credit he deserves.
I promise you, the biggest thing is, and this is just the way it goes when you're playing sports, you play the game and win, right? Everybody remembers that. Herm Edwards, you play the game to win. And unfortunately, when we've gotten to the playoffs, when we got into those big moments, even if he produces well, his team doesn't come through. Mm-hmm. And that falls on his shoulders. But I tell you right now, that guy wins 1 Super Bowl. 1. Even if he gets to it and just becomes a more relevant part of what's going on, He'll be fine.
Just to back you up on that, everybody talks about, oh, the Giants won the trade because those two got traded. Philip Rivers was drafted by the Giants and vice versa.
Yeah.
They made a trade. Everybody says the Giants came out on top. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls because of that defense. Philip Rivers is better than Eli Manning in every single passing category.
100% agree. 100% agree. I mean, the NFL has been fun to watch this first half. And, I mean, we see all these trades at the trade deadline. This is going to be fun to watch going forward.
Yep.
Fun to watch going forward. I mean, I'll keep it at that. I'll keep it short.
Okay. Before we go, first half prediction on Super Bowl.
It's a tough one. I'll be honest with you. I got the Rams, and I got New Orleans doing the NFC Championship game. And I have the Rams winning that game for one reason only. As much as I just said about the Rams and their defense, I don't feel like they're, complete. And as long as they have Ndamukong Suh at the defensive end position rather than down at the D tackle position, I don't think that defense is going to be as productive as they should be. I got the Rams winning because they're going to be at home. We talked about New Orleans' schedule.
Yeah.
Right? St. Louis, I mean, not St. Louis. I'm sorry. I keep saying that. The Rams, they got the easier schedule going forward. I know they face Kansas City. They're going to face the Chargers again. But, New Orleans still has to face both those teams we talked about before, in Carolina and Atlanta. And they got a tough schedule ahead of them. So I got the Chargers. Not the Chargers. I got the Rams beating the Saints because it's going to be in LA.
Okay.
AFC side, I have, as much as the Chargers, I think, are going to be in the picture, they're either going to have to go to Kansas City or they're going to have to go to New England at some point. And I don't see them winning at either. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, even as complete as they are, going into Foxborough with Brady in playoff time is not happening.
No.
All right. Going into Arrowhead with the way that place rocks, especially with the year they're having, I don't see it happening. But I got Kansas City and New England making the AFC Championship game in Kansas City. Because I do feel that, the Chiefs might lose one more game. I could see the Pats possibly losing 2 more games.
Yeah.
I do see that game being in Kansas City. But I will say, I got the Pats going into Kansas City winning that game. I got Brady going down to Arrowhead where he has all these demons and putting another mark on his resume saying, you can't say that this team is better than me. I will go to any stadium and I will prove to you at 41 years old that I'm going back to the Super Bowl. And I have a rematch of the Patriots and the Rams in the Super Bowl. And I mean, right now I have no idea who's winning that game. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got same situation. Patriots, Rams, Super Bowl. Same reason why you with the Rams. My factor in the Patriots-Chiefs game in Arrowhead, Andy Reid has no success in conference championship games. He's been to 1 Super Bowl. He's been to many conference championships when he was with the Eagles. I just don't think he can. I think he just crumbles under the pressure of the conference championship game. So I got Brady and the Belichick going into Arrowhead, putting a beating on him. It's going to be an embarrassing beatdown. It's only because
Think so?
Reid is not going to be able to call plays.
Okay.
He struggles.
Okay.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if it comes for the Super Bowl, a last-second kick by either team to win it.
I could see it. I mean, the key to the AFC game is definitely going to be is Justin Houston back for the Chiefs. The only time you ever see Brady struggle when there's a pass rush. No Justin Houston, no way that they beat them. I think it's going to be closer. I don't think it'll be a beatdown in Kansas City. But if Justin Houston isn't there, book the pass to the Super Bowl. Even if he is there, I got them still winning, but it's going to be tighter. If Justin Houston isn't in the game, especially if Eric Berry is still not playing, book your tickets, New England. Enjoy your time, Pats.
Give Brady 3 seconds, he's going to tear you apart.
Is that simple?
He's not going to throw the deep ball every time. He just needs quick routes. He's going to pick you apart little by little.
It's that simple. I mean, it doesn't get much better. I'm excited to see if these predictions actually take place.
Oh yes.
That should be some fun. That should be some fun football.
I agree. It's going to be a great second half.
Hey, well, want to thank everybody for watching today. Hope that you enjoyed it. We enjoy every second of being up here. We hope to continue this for a while and bring you some great stuff.
Guys, like Will said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.